Who is more important, Kevin Zeitler or Terrion Arnold?
I'll lead off with this one. I'm going to say Terrion Arnold. I think what I've seen from Christian Mahogany and with the way that the offensive line has been able to adjust no matter who we're going to play, I just think Terrion Arnold, being out there, the maturity that he's shown, what he means, and obviously, like the confidence that Amik Robinson's going to have coming off the game that he had, I think, with the rest. So I would say Terrion Arnold. I want that secondary to be as tight and as available as possible.
Yeah, no, absolutely it's TA. You got way more depth at that guard position if Zeitler weren't to come back. But TA is your number one corner right now. And say what you want about the kid. If he's not out there and you just got to rely on Amik and whatever else they got, Kendall Vildor, it's going to look a little different. And I love Amik, but it's going to look different without TA out there.
Yeah, the offensive line has been the one unit that really hasn't shown on the field any problems due to injury. They've had guys some weeks that are out and then they come back. Zeitler's a Pro Bowler and he's been our best signing in my opinion.
Yeah.
But that offensive line can get by without him. Without Carlton Davis on the field, you've got to have TA healthy. Yeah. It allows Amik to play a little more situational corner instead of being that number one. And as fantastic as he was against JJ last week, that familiarity from high school went a long way. So I think that him having the bookend of another top corner out there in what Terrion's becoming went from a pass interference liability to one of the better young corners in the league, in my opinion. So TA being out there would be huge.
And just one thing, Spenny, before you hit the super chat, in your opinion, is the fact Carlton Davis isn't there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's why it's, to me, I wanted to say that because it's so more important.
100.
And the real K77 in the Woodward Sports Chat says TA all day. And so, dude, you need Terrion out there. Hopefully, he said he's going to play, so I believe the kid. Next question of the nickel package. Do you trust this pass rush in the playoffs?
I trust AG in these playoffs. Yeah. We are getting healthier. I've spoken about it ad nauseum on Wednesdays. When you have a team that goes through injuries on their way to a historic season, you have a lot of other guys step up and play. And I forget exactly who it was, but I saw a quote this week about, I know it was DJ Reader. And he was just talking about how it didn't matter all these guys that have gone out. In fact, it's kind of strengthened them because they've gotten to know each and every guy that comes in. And as a unit, much like we just talked about with that offensive line, they've been able to overcome these injuries. But we saw AG dial up some stuff that he was holding in his bag over the last month, and he brought it out against Minnesota. We got to the quarterback, gave up no touchdowns. I have faith in this defensive line.
Yeah, I think it's committee, right? It's just by committee, and it might look different. I think we can all agree it looks different, and you have more leeway when you have the blonde bomber behind you running sideline to sideline. So
who shared that nickname?
What's that?
You know who shared that nickname?
Who?
Bobby Blonde Bomber Lane.
Oh, Bobby Lane.
That was his actual nickname. Yeah.
There you go. So I think that they'll find a way between the schemes, and you look at guys that maybe you haven't heard of. Like you're gonna get a Pat O'Connor that's gonna be healthy after
the Prophet.
Few weeks off.
The Prophet Muhammad, man.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So, it's a committee thing, and they know that's next man up. And when you have next man up mentality and you have talent, that's when you can accomplish things and schemes.
And I think Anzalone is such a key because having him to be able to play in coverage, to be able to follow a mobile quarterback, that allows AG to dial up blitzes from beyond just the front four.
Dude, and the key is you free Campbell.
Yep.
Dude, 100%.
And shout out to Jack Campbell for the job he did holding things in place while Anzalone was gone. But now with that experience, you've sort of you see that. So I think to that point, it all plays together.
And next question of the Lions nickel package. David Montgomery expected to return in this game. What are your expectations for him when you talk about workload wise?
30 to 35% snap count. Normally he's around a 45 to 50 snap count. They're going to use him, but they want him for the full playoffs. So I don't see him getting a ton of work. They might not even give him goal line work.
It all depends on the game. I think they'll optimize having him out there, but won't jeopardize moving forward.
I like that.
So, but it's also too is you know what, you're cooking with Gibbs right now, right? So you have the luxury of keep cooking, and maybe it's 20% plays. I think that what it will be is it will be effective.
Yeah, from a scheme standpoint, you still got to use Monty just so you can throw defenses off, because the way they utilize both backs from drive to drive is always different. But you need to lean on Gibbs during this playoff reign. Monty's not healthy, so Gibbs needs to be your number one back.
And Monty could be really used a lot as a play-action decoy without having to give him the ball.
Yeah, Gibbs will be doing a lot of blocking as well for Jared Goff in the play-action.
And next question of the bye-week nickel package: are the coaching interviews a distraction?
No.
I mean, honestly, like,
it's a distraction.
I get that you want to have your guy in place, but during the playoffs, to have one of your staff members leave and go to another city, I do think that it is a distraction. It's 100% a distraction. It's not only a distraction for that guy to have to leave and go physically to another city to get that interview, but it's a conversation piece, whether it's just the fans talking about it, whether there's whispers in the locker room. Even if it's a small distraction, it's 100% at least a distraction.
I look at it differently, because having a bye week, right, and if the team gets a couple days off, you're free to do with what you want. It's not like nobody knows you're getting it. Nobody's doing it in secret.
But this isn't just for the number one seed. This is for all the playoff teams. It's a distraction for anybody that's having their. Go ahead.
No. You could say like the distraction to whatever. It's got to be, but it's inevitability. I think it goes into the relationship. To each guy, is somebody have their foot out the door, or are they committed to what's at hand? So it's just like the process. And I think like individually, I don't think that anything that Aaron Glenn or Ben Johnson did to entertain any coaching offer hindered anything that will move forward for our team. I don't give a shit about the rest of the league.
Exactly.
Right? You know what I'm saying? I only care about our guys, and I believe, because task at hand, their number one priority is right now and here. They're just, if they got to go through whatever
the motions
it is, because that's what it is. The communication is there. So I don't think in this case with my team, I don't really care about the rest of the teams. Yeah, if you had a playoff game that week and they were doing that, how could it not be? Because you're taking away from your game plan.
If I was in charge, I would put a rule out there that basically says you cannot be interviewed until you've been eliminated. And to your point, like, some of the best teams have the best coaching candidates. So if you have to wait until February to interview the top-notch candidates, that's what you do. You start the process a month later than some other teams
I don't
did.
Disagree with that.
But you're interviewing the cream of the crop.
Yeah.
Somebody gets eliminated in the first round, now you can talk to them. And realistically, you're going to have what? You're going to have 18 teams to be able to interview come January.
Yeah.
And then after that, a couple more teams get added to it. And if you're really waiting for Ben Johnson, you might have to wait until the Super Bowl, after the Super Bowl.
And so I get what you're getting at, but this is the life cycle in the offseason of the NFL. You are going to get interviewed by teams, and we got two good guys here. I don't think they would jeopardize anything that the Lions got going on just to take an interview. And also, a lot of these interviews are virtual. They don't necessarily have to leave in order to complete the interviews. So I don't think it's that big of a distraction. It's more of a talking piece for the fan base. And
but if they're
media.
Gone just a day, that's less time with the team.
But I promise you, like D-Mac said, if that day, they knew that day was coming, they wouldn't let it interfere with anything they got going on in terms of this playoff.
And I agree with that, but to my point again, any moment not spent with the team, even if you schedule it and the team's okay with it, that's time that could have been spent game planning.
True, but I think they got all the game planning that they need. But I get what you're getting at, but I just don't think it's that.
I think it would just be a very small, simple change that would just protect current playoff teams. You know.
And final question of the Lions nickel package: what is the ideal scenario for the Lions in their first game?
Like, who do they play?
Who do you want to see first?
I really don't want to see the Rams. I think that they probably are the easiest win for us, but that would be the most unpalatable loss that I could ever fucking handle as a Lions fan.
Wait, you're worried about?
No, I'm not worried about the Rams at all. But if some crazy bounce,
who do you want to chew up and spit out?
I'm just saying if the ball bounces off of Vildor's helmet again, and somehow Stat Padford comes out of here with a win and comes back with the retribution party, and Kelly Stafford leaves wearing a crown, I have a real problem with that.
I'm scared.
I know.
No,
right?
I'm not scared at all. I'm just saying that's the one. That's the one loss I could. I would not be able to make it through the offseason dealing with.
I think I want Green Bay.
I do too.
Yeah,
that's the easiest win.
I said on the morning show the Vikings because we are already in their head. A lot of their fan base already thinks they won't even make it past the Rams in the first round.
I don't think so either.
But if they got to come back to Ford Field, I mean, come on now, they not winning that.
It's a lot of traveling in about 13, 14 days.
Exactly.
I want the Packers. Let's go to break. We'll come back and we'll throw